Hello, good evening to you. Thanks so much for accepting us into your homes tonight. My name is Nafa. Thanks so much. This is Regulators here on Adoatv Television. You cannot find us on Facebook. Let me let me state that you cannot find us on Facebook because we can't stream live. I don't know if any of us have been able to access WhatsApp, but this is the situation we find ourselves in. So let's do well to tell our friends about this. Let's watch on television rather than opting to go on Facebook or something. But on YouTube, yes, you can get us there on YouTube, but not on Facebook. So today on Regulators, we are going to continue our discussion. 2 weeks back, we're talking about the Planned Parenthood Association of Ghana. And we talked about a lot of things that they are up to. One is the Child Marriage Free Community Alert. So we move into communities one after the other. We check to see if people are observing. A child who is underage, who is below 18, should not be given to an older person or should not be given to any other person to be married, and then a dowry will be paid for or to her parents. This is so bad. This is what we are trying to rid our community of. So if you know a child today who is going through same, do well to contact us or do well to contact the PPAG and to do something about the situation. Today we are continuing our discussions. There are a lot of things that the PPAGs are up to. We'll tell you more. There'll be time for you to also contribute on WhatsApp 050925. Sorry, no WhatsApp. So you can do what to send us a text on that same number 0509257753. Do what to send us any message at all, or do well to call us when the phone lines are activated so that you can also share your thoughts with us, your comments, whatever you want to ask us. You can ask in both Twi, English, and Nga. We'll do well to answer that. We'll be back after the quick turn. Stay with us.
Hello everyone, my name is Adoatv, a proud ambassador for Sonotech's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's hashtag Pinktober, hashtag Sonotech Goes Pink. Now from the 1st October to the 31st October 2021, at any of the 3 branches of Sonotech, Tema, Osu and West Hills Malls, we are gathering together to get free screening. Yes, I said it's free. And that's not all we have for you. We also have 20% off mammogram testing and 50% off ultrasound. Let's go pink from October the 1st to the 31st, 2021 at Osu, Tema, and West Hills Mall, all Sonotech branches. We are giving hope to save a life. See you there.
All right, so welcome back. Thanks so much for joining us. We are live on YouTube. Yes, type Adoatv Ghana on YouTube and you get to watch this current video or this current program there. Other than that, you send us a comment on normal text message 050925 7753. I've been joined by Miss Abna Idubia Amwa. She is a rep from PPAG. Hello, ma'am. Welcome. Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us again.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having me.
We are so glad. We learned a lot. This past few weeks has been very good to us because we've learned a lot. Myself, I have listened to most of your people speak, and I realized that all of us need someone to speak to.
Sure.
So tell us about the. We know people are up to child marriage alert free community. I need you to hammer on that again.
Okay. Thank you very much. So that's a campaign.
Okay.
So supported by United Nations Population Fund.
Okay.
That is UNFPA.
Mm-hmm.
We work in various communities across the country
Mm-hmm.
where we work with partner members of the community. So we have traditional leaders, religious leaders, opinion leaders, and the communities themselves, including the young people, um, to provide support for young people so that they don't get married off before the age of 18. The
So
last
what's
time,
the role of all these stakeholders?
so the girl child actually needs a lot of support.
Okay.
Okay, so left to her alone, she can't do much.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to uphold the rights of the young girl, if we have to empower her, and if we have to be able to, she has to be able to live up to her own expectations and the expectations of the community, then we all need to be part of the empowerment process where we provide her with the needed support. So the situation where girls are told that you don't have to be married off just alone and then they are left to go and fend for themselves, we notice does not work. Because what happens is that you have an empowered girl who knows what is right and what is not right, but does not have the authority or does not have the liberty to decide for herself.
Okay.
Parents have to decide for her, the community have to decide for her. And so we feel that this
Even at the age of
community,
18?
before the age of 18, because
Okay.
once they hit the age of 18, they
18,
are
yeah.
adults. So before the age of 18, the community must help her to be able to stay on course.
Okay.
All right. So parents must be supporting her, providing her with the security that she needs, providing her with the resources, the support, the mentorship, and everything that she needs at home.
Okay.
Teachers should be supporting with the education and still some mentorship and leadership. Community members should be looking out for her, so that if anything is going bad or going wrong with her, community members should be able to get up and to say that no, not for our girl, because we have expectations for her and we
Okay.
want her to be able to move up the ladder to be somebody that we expect her to be in future. And so we will not allow anything bad to happen to her. So if
Okay.
all these cohort of people are able to come together to support the girl, that is when the girl can succeed. It is very difficult to leave her alone to be able to do all this. And even parents, it's difficult to leave parents alone to support the girl. All of us have to be on board, including the security agencies, the police, including the other public institutions like the social welfare
Okay.
department, the Department of Gender, SHRAJ, and DOFSU, all of us, everyone, the chief, everyone has a role to play in how the girl child turns out in the end.
Now we've realized that there are oversights in every institution we find ourselves in. One is that the teacher could do his or her part, the policeman would do his or her part,
Yeah.
Shraj would do his or her part, social welfare would do his or her part.
Yeah.
But then the issue of child marriage is still persistent. What are we missing out?
What we are missing out is actually the commitment.
Okay.
I think that the commitment from all the parties. I mean,
Okay.
at one point or the other. Okay, so when parents says that, well, this is our child, we decide what to do with it, with her. That's a challenge.
Okay.
Because in the end, the parents have total influence and control over the child. And then not a lot of children are able to stand the might of their parents. Some are able to,
Others
they
are
are
not.
strong enough to be able to run away
You say
from
yes, they will
home.
tell you no.
To be able to run away from home, but not everybody
Okay.
everybody does. And sometimes also it's even the community that put pressure also on parents to give
Okay.
up their children. So I always have this analogy where I say that it's very difficult to come to Accra, find a very rich man's daughter, and
Get
say
married
that
to.
this girl is 13 years, I want to go and get married to her. You can't just do that, you know. But poverty, or being in a smaller community and other issues like poverty and others, is able to put pressure on parents to give off. I mean, to give in so easily. So the entire community must be empowered and
Okay.
must be committed, before some of these things, can be averted. So so for instance, the police, who are supposed to be enforcing the law, have to be committed, such that if there is any violation where a girl who is less than 18 years is married off and they receive the report, they should be able to go in there and, with the support of the community, be able to bring the child back. But if the community are not supporting, it's very difficult for the police to be able to do that. So I think that it's a commitment from all of us, for the girl. And of course, it's also commitment from the girl herself as well, to be able to say, no, I'm not going. And then if they are looking for me, I want out. Because we have many examples of girls who have run away from so-called matrimonial homes, and taking refuge in places where they have been supported and protected,
Okay.
from those. So I think that it is all of us who are committed and who do not relent, and
In our
break the chain
efforts.
at any point. I don't remember where, but I was in a workshop where there was a chain. Yeah, okay, I remember now. We launched the intergenerational dialogue in one of the communities near Sugakofe,
Okay.
and I think it's the one of the resource persons who was that. I don't remember whether it was the UNFPA contact person at the district or somebody who had an analogy where he got a number of people to represent various stakeholders in the community, form a chain, very strong chain where they are holding
Okay.
their hands in a circle. And then
And you
you have the
cannot break
girl
that
in the
chain.
middle.
Okay.
And then the girl tries to break away and then he hits a snag and comes back, and to the extent that then the girl gets tired and just stands.
Okay.
But then when it was losing a little bit, he just broke away and off she went.
Okay.
You
So
know,
this is
so
just a demonstration to tell us how
exactly,
the community should be like.
exactly. So all of us should come together and to support the girl.
Now, these communities that are free of this child
Early
marriage
child,
issue,
early marriage.
how do we identify these communities and to see to it that they are actually doing what is right?
Okay, so we have program officers there who
Okay.
are monitoring the situation, and so
Okay.
they are actually up the PPAG UNFPA Child Marriage Project communities.
Okay.
And so we have our staff there, and then also we have some young people also there, and then we have the support of the chief,
Okay.
and the community leaders as well. So there's a flag that has been hoisted in front of the chief's palace.
Okay. And
That
what's the color of
flag,
the flag?
that flag, I think, is white.
Okay.
Okay, so this flag is at full glare, of everybody in
So
front
wherever
of
you
the.
come from, you
You
definitely
will
spot
find
it
a
out.
flag,
Okay.
and it signifies victory over early marriage or child marriage.
Okay.
Once there is an incidence of child marriage, the flag goes down.
Reason being that.
Reason being that we have let one girl down.
Okay.
So once, and we also have the various community leaders, stakeholders in the community signing on to a pledge
Okay.
that they will work to ensure that there is no documented case of child marriage in that community for that period of time. And so we are monitoring it, and we are still working in the community. We are still engaging community members. We are engaging the girls themselves. We are engaging the boys also, because sometimes the boys elope with the girls. So, so we are engaging the boys also. We are engaging the community members, the traditional leaders, the gatekeepers of the community, Also, the relevant public institution, yes, that are supposed to provide the needed support.
Okay. Now, if this child is taken out of that marriage, what are some of the things that we could do for this child as the PPAG would have it?
Okay, so most of them will be in school actually. Most of them would be in school because the Constitution of Ghana determines that you have to be in school. Now, SHS is free, and so we expect that you should be in school, and so we would facilitate
Okay.
your
You going back
re-entry.
to school?
Yes, we'll
Okay.
facilitate your re-entry into school. By courtesy of UNFP again, we have some little support that we can give to the girl to go back to school. Some of them come out with children, and so we also, have some support that we provide to families. We have programs where we are able to engage with families to be able to pick up the children, so the girls can either go back to school or learn a trade as well. So we also provide some support also in terms of livelihood training and empowerment also for these girls. And so some of them actually go to school and still do the livelihood so that they can take care of themselves. Yeah, and so these
So when
are
they close from school at a certain time, they go back and they learn a trade.
Exactly, they learn a trade and then they do the trade. So some of them do bead keeping, bead making, soap making, and now with the advent of COVID, sanitizers and other things that they do to be able to provide some support. Yes, support for them. We PPAG actually advocates for youth empowerment, the empowerment of the girl, and we want a situation whereby the girl can take a decision that I don't want to do A, I want to do B. And sometimes you need the financial independence to be able to do that. Because we've had a lot of cases where girls are susceptible to advances of males and are given because they need certain basic things. Something as basic as food. Indomie.
We know the Indomie thing.
Exactly. And sometimes sad. It's very sad, and so providing the information is very important. It's very empowering because once they know they have the information and they know the side effects of early sex and promiscuity and all those kind of things, and the fact that they can get pregnant, they can have STI or HIV, and they are not emotionally, matured enough to be able to be in those spaces. Then what is left is if they have a basic need and they don't have anyone to tend to, what happens? And so we provide that support. Yes.
Now, in this country or where we have gotten to, when you preach about abstinence, it's difficult.
Yes.
Now the girl child decides to contact the PPAG and tells the PPAG on confidentiality that I am not a virgin, but I have known a man. So how do you talk to that girl to subscribe to any of the family planning method or something? Because this child has already known what it is. So you cannot preach to the child on abstinence, but you can rather preach to the child on protection. What do we do to this child?
Abstinence is always possible. Abstinence is always possible. Even for married couples, sometimes they abstain. Because maybe they don't want they don't want to have any family planning what's the name
any of the family planning method?
Yes, any of the family planning methods. Abstinence is also a family planning method, except that you cannot really trust it. You cannot really trust yourself when you are married and you're still, but so abstinence is always on the table. It's something that once you counsel the person can decide to abstain, and that's a decision that the person takes, and then you provide support for the person to be able to abstain. But then if they cannot abstain, then you counsel them on the various family planning methods that we have. And so there are various methods, and some people might decide to go the natural way where they only have sex during their ovulation period, which is also quite tricky because that also not very much, the success rate is not very high. You could get pregnant, and then also you could have STI, sexual transmitted infection, and even HIV. And so we would counsel you to use condoms or to use any of the family planning methods. If you are in a stable or secured relationship and you just don't want to get pregnant, then you can go on any of the family planning methods. If you are not in a stable relationship and you're still sexually active, then you have to use condom. Because we are talking of protection against pregnancies, but
And
also
then
against
STIs.
STIs and HIV as well. So yes, but one thing I want to mention is that you will find some of the family planning methods on over the counter.
Yeah.
But I would always advise that you seek medical help before you take any hormonal method, any method,
What is your reason for saying this?
because every individual is different.
Okay.
And we have heard a lot of people complain about one method or the other. And it has the tendency to discourage people from undergoing family planning methods. And so for us, the sure way for you to be safe and not to experience the issues that others have experienced is to seek professional help. And so through counseling, you would be able to know which method works for you. Okay, and then also once the method is given to you with the support of a health professional, whenever you have any issues, it's very easy for you to go back to the person.
Okay.
At PPAG,
Is it because your issues are confidential, or is it because you can rely on someone?
both.
Okay.
You are assured of confidentiality, reliability, but also the fact that you have established that rapport already.
Okay.
So it's easy for you to go back. Okay. At PPAG, we have a number that you can call. Not only the Yankasa, you can always call the Yankasa.
Okay.
But then every facility of PPAG that you go to, there is a number that you can call if you're having issues.
Okay.
And they will attend to you.
Would they ask you to come back to the place?
If it means you have to come back, then they will ask you to come. But sometimes you just need maybe some reassurance.
Okay.
That it will be fine, or maybe just use it for the next 2 days and let's see what happens. Sometimes you need those assurances to also be able to pull through, and all that. And so for me, I would always advise that if you want to go on one family planning or the other, you need to seek professional counseling. Some people come with some method in mind. So they come and say, I want a pill. But they go through counseling and then they change their mind.
You realize that they can take their implant or something.
Something else. Yes.
Now, in as much as we want to increase our families, I mean, people want to move from the extended family to create their own families. We are also thinking about anti-abortions. Now, we have tried to minimize the rates of mortality during and after these abortions or unsafe abortions. How does the PPAG ensure that most of our abortions in this country, I don't know if it's legalized yet or not, if it is safe or unsafe for us, and how do we get the safe ones?
Okay, thank you very much. So in Ghana, abortion is legal in some circumstances. Okay, so it's not a wholesale. It's not opened up so that everybody can do it. And then also it must be done in a certified facility.
Okay.
And it must be done by a certified health professional.
Okay. Before you go on to that, you need to tell us why it is legalized, or it is legal in certain aspects and it's not legal in certain aspects.
Okay, so the laws that we have on abortion indicates that you can only have an abortion if the pregnancy has effect on the mother or the child.
Okay.
So both health implications and emotional, and also affect the emotional and physical well-being of the mother or the child. So under those circumstances, you can have an abortion. And also when the child, when the person who is pregnant is also, excuse me to say, an imbecile, somebody who cannot take a decision for themselves. Okay. And then, or through rape or through defilement.
Okay.
These circumstances are allowed. But as I have indicated, it has to be done in a certified facility and by a certified health professional. So
Are you taken through counseling before that?
yes, yes. Once you get to the certified professional, they will take you through counseling.
Okay.
And we've had a number of people who've come through our facilities who came with their mind that they want to have an abortion, but returned home with their pregnancies and carried it to term. Yes.
Okay.
So we give you a counsel. We counsel you. What we don't subscribe is for you to have a criminal abortion. What we call a criminal abortion, illegal abortion, where you take medications or you take certain things. I mean, there are very diverse ways that people do it, which is illegal, highly illegal, because
so
as I mentioned today, to you, right? Yes, it's criminal because the issue is that it has to be done by a health professional in a registered health facility. So if you're at home and you are doing it by yourself, that is not the law. That's not what the law says.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you come to PPAG or any health service, any Ghana Health Service or private facility that is registered and offers comprehensive abortion services, then you can have a very legal and safe abortion services without any complications at all.
And then after that, after the abortion is done, what happens?
In fact, at PPAG, we have a comprehensive package where we also offer you family planning method. After it? Yes, because that is how you can prevent another pregnancy. We don't subscribe to comprehensive comprehensive abortion care. We don't subscribe to it. We don't want you to be doing it repeatedly. We want you. We understand the fact that we can make mistakes. Things can happen. Sometimes you even think you are ready, but then when it comes, you are like, no, I think I'm not ready. We understand the fact that people can change their mind, but we want to limit as much as possible. The fact that comprehensive abortion care is not a family planning method. You cannot use that as a family planning method. It is an emergency situation. And so if you know that you are not ready to have children, then you must have either abstain or put on a family planning method. So mostly when you come in for comprehensive abortion, part of the counseling is for you to have a family planning method. After it. So just so that you secure yourself. Yes, please.
Now let's speak about the Get Up Speak Out initiative. What does it stand to gain? People subscribing.
Sure.
How's it faring so far?
Sure. So the GUSO Get Up Speak Out was a project. In fact, we finished it last year in December. But of course, PPAG, we are carrying out a lot of the activities. We are still carrying out a lot of the activities. It was actually a project that provided support for young people to have access to reproductive health education. Okay. And also to have access to services, sexual and reproductive health services. Okay. So we understand the fact that a lot of young people do not have access to the information about their sexuality and what they can do about their sexuality. And also the fact that there are lots of obstacles to young people having access to sexual and reproductive health information and services. So services like the counseling we are talking about, services to comprehensive abortion care, services to family planning, STI services. Some of them get sexually transmitted infections and they don't have access to services in the clinics. And so what the program did was to engage clinics and facilities. So Ghana Health Service partner facilities, PPAG facilities and other facilities,
but not private facilities.
We did private facilities too. So we engaged them to provide youth-friendly services to young people. Okay, so young people have dedicated places and health professionals that they can go to if they need help. If they need information, if they need counseling, if they need services, they can go to. But most importantly, it was on educating them on their sexuality and what to do and what not to do. It also engaged community leaders. So we had chiefs and opinion leaders who also
so
part
just like the child marriage free alert.
Exactly. We work mainly in community. PPAG, we work in out of school. We work with out of school young people. All right.
Okay.
So most of our projects activities are in the communities where we engage the young people, but also the
Community at
gate
large.
yes the gatekeepers and the community at large to be able to understand issues of young people and to support them. That is more important. When you understand the young people,
You
then
can
you
work
can
with them,
provide them the
provide
support.
them solutions to
Yes,
their
to be
problems.
so they can grow up to the adults that we all desire them to be to grow up
Interesting.
into.
Now, before we continue, our phone lines are activated. Please do well to call, and when you call, please lower the volume of your television set. Now, young people are very difficult to understand because they find it difficult speaking. Most of them find it difficult speaking to their parents or to their guidance. But when you give them a number or someone to speak to, they are easily attached to the person and they can speak to the person freely. Now, this Yen Casa project and the Get Up and Speak Out project, is it the same or are there differences to it?
There are differences.
Okay.
Yankasa is basically a digital health intervention
Okay. Okay.
where you
Okay.
are talking to someone you don't see.
You don't see.
All right. So
So you don't get to mention your name.
I mean, if we think that we need to, because sometimes we need to follow up with you.
Okay.
And sometimes also we refer you to facilities and want to be able to follow up with the facilities, whether you came or not.
Or not. Okay.
And so we are able to, yeah. So sometimes we would need your name, but if you don't want to mention your name also, that's fine. We can still
Oh,
help you.
you don't force it.
No, no,
Okay.
we don't force it. Yes. But you see, one thing I also want to mention is that young people always trust adults in the adults in their lives. Okay, yes. If the young person in your life does not come to you, it means that you are not doing what will make them trust you. So the problem is not them, the
Okay.
problem is you, the adult. Sometimes when I
You
say
know,
these things,
we always want to correct. We always want to correct them.
no, it's not about that.
Okay.
It's about the way you relate to them, and
Okay.
it's about being open enough for them to be able to talk to you.
So how should we relate to them?
You relate to them as someone who understands their issues. You see,
So whatever they say, you
every
say
adult,
yes. But
no,
you have to accept it.
no,
Okay.
every adult have been a child before,
Yeah.
and sometimes we want to think for them, and sometimes we want them. We so much desire that they don't make the mistakes that we made, and so in that circumstance, we are always too strict on them.
You need to straighten them up.
Exactly, and you want to straighten it like in the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
But
A gradual
it's a
process.
conscious God, yes. And then also when you are dealing with young people and you get them, you are friends with them and you get them to trust that you understand what they are going through and that you will support them, they open up.
Okay, so if you
But
have a
when they
child at
know,
home, the child should be your friend.
certainly the child should be your friend. The child should be.
Okay.
So, for instance, when they go to school and they get 80%, you should be the first person they want to come and tell that they got 80% in school.
Okay.
If they got 10% and the teacher gave them maybe a slap in
Or a
the
beating.
butt or a beating, you should be the first person they want to come home and talk to.
Okay.
And it's because you are not going to judge them, and it's because you are going to support them.
Okay.
But sometimes the child starts that's all. Then they coil. They're like, okay, my mom. I remember my son, for instance. I didn't even know I was doing it. But she told me, so you mommy, you are going to be hysterical right now. I'm like, oh really? And that is when I decided to change.
He told
I
you
didn't
that.
even notice.
How old is he?
Okay, he's 16 now, but those days he
In
was
those
about
days.
12.
He told
But
you
he told
that.
me I was very, and that I'm going to scream, mommy,
Mommy's going
calm
to
down,
shout.
mommy, calm down, mommy, calm down.
Okay.
So sometimes that's what we do to them,
So
and then they
now
are
the
not able
attitude
to
has
trust.
changed.
Yes, the
Okay.
attitude has changed. I sit down with her and him, I talk to him, and then he opens up and talks to me as well. And he knows that I'm not going to judge him. That's the most important. If they know you are not going to judge them, they will tell you everything. They will not go and talk to their peers. They don't trust their peers. They
Okay.
trust you more. But because they also don't trust how you are going to react to it, so they won't talk to you.
But
Okay.
Yankasa gives them that platform.
The Ankasa gives them platform to talk to someone they can't even see. And so maybe they are just able to voice out, and then the person can direct them in terms of how they should go about it and probably see an adult.
Okay.
All right.
So you
So
suggest
you
to
could
them
suggest to
who
them that, oh, why don't you go here? You know, maybe the PPAG facilities there, maybe the Ghana Health Service the facility.
Okay.
Currently we've started we've started the process of engaging with Ghana Health Service so that we can have a list of facilities across the country where there
That'll
are
be closer to
trained
people.
where there
Okay.
are trained nurses who can provide youth-friendly services to young people, so that when they call, we can confidently, refer them to such places,
Mhm.
and all that. And very soon, I mean, like moving forward, we are going to be having partner institutions and partner individuals and organizations that are going to be providing various ranges of services.
Okay.
Currently, we have a resident counselor who
Mm.
is able to follow through with some of the issues that we have
Okay.
that needs counseling. But going forward, we're going to be having more of that, but also ensure that we are able to link them to facilities, that they can go and get the service that they need
They need
in a very confidential but
way.
also quality way,
Mm.
and so young people need you to trust them.
First things
They need
first.
yes, they need you to trust them, and then you also need them to trust you.
Okay.
Okay, and you are the adult, so the bigger responsibility lies
Lies
on
on
you
you.
as the adult to
Mhm.
make sure that you are trusting them and that they know that you are trusting them, so they can open up to you.
Mhm.
If you do that, the issues that they will bring to Yankasa will not be issues that are really, maybe they just
Huge.
want to bounce some things off and then
Mhm.
they will bring, but
No.
all the important ones, they will talk to you at home, and then and they would, even when they go and there's a gossip around,
They
and
come
and
and
they,
tell
they will
you
come, yes, they will come and say, mommy, do you know that ABC,
it's happening.
yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yeah, so we have to do that
Yeah,
for our
I
young
think we need to
people.
learn learn on how, or learn things, learn ways of dealing with these kids here and there.
Yeah.
We should find ways. Now, what could parliamentarians do? What could industries, agencies, government institutions do to help this kind of work?
So, with parliamentarians, we need them to be able to advocate
Okay.
within the communities for young people to have access to information and services,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to destigmatize some of these things,
Okay.
because they are not able to access. I mean, every community now has a service provider, right? So there's the chief compounds
Mm-hmm.
at the lowest end, and then we have the health centers and all that, and so what young people cannot trust is whether their information is confidential,
Or not. Okay.
and they are worried about that also because the community has stigmatized services that
Mm.
young people do not need to have um, family planning. Okay, they don't need to go onto contraceptives. Young people shouldn't be having sex. Okay,
Yeah.
and so why do you want
To
contraceptives?
go.
And so they don't have to go there, but they are going there. We all
Mm-hmm.
know that they are doing it.
But for them to do it right is an issue.
Yes, but you see, the issue is that once the young person takes the decision that they want to do it, you
Do
see,
it.
it's an individual decision.
Okay.
Okay, as a parent or as a community leader, you wish that your child never does that. But once they start doing that, it's
It's
out
up
of
to
your
them.
league. It's out of your control now.
Mhm.
You understand? And so we need to understand the fact that every individual is different, and
Mhm.
God has given all of us the right to take certain decisions. We can be very good girls at home, and boys at home,
But
but we
outside,
can be different in the
different
in the
people.
different places, and so we shouldn't be too judgmental on, and especially young people. So we want parliamentarians to at least advocate for young people
Hmm.
to be able to have access to information, access to education,
Okay.
most importantly, as well,
Hmm.
and also be able to receive the needed empowerment that they need to go to school,
Hmm.
because research has shown that just 3 years, additional education that a girl has in secondary school has a long-term impact
On
on
that
her
child.
health
Yeah.
and the family that she's able to bring up. So what kind of
Mm.
families do we want in Ghana?
In Ghana. Okay.
Educating our girls or educating our young people will have a long-term impact on the
Yes.
kind of population that we have. And so we want parliamentarians to understand that and to be able to support us in that. Industries must, and then corporate Ghana must put money where it's really, really needed. Empowerment. Look, I always say that if the banks are doing entrepreneurship training for young people, it's very important. But you can do the entrepreneurship training and the next day the girl is pregnant. What do you do with the entrepreneurship training? You understand? It goes down the drain. All the money is going down the drain. So it's important that you train them in entrepreneurship, but it's also important that we look at their sexual health as well, because it has a huge implication on whatever intervention we put in. You remember that when free SHS started, and the double track started.
Most girls became pregnant.
Yes, we had instances of teenage pregnancies that were being linked to the free SHS. You know, and so it's more like, okay, so you give.
Would you say it had an impact?
The free SHS had an impact.
The shift system.
I wouldn't attribute it to the shift system. Okay. I think I will attribute it mainly to the lack of control that was in the schools. A lot of the schools were overpopulated, and so the kind of controls that the schools were able to put on earlier students, they were not, because you know, a school that was enrolling maybe 500 and all of a sudden it's 1,000. You know, and most of these teachers don't stay on campus, and a lot of these students are day students. You know, and so you have, you know, so I wouldn't attribute it directly to the free SHS, but it's because we didn't put in place those measures, and it is also because the policies that we put in place, we don't look at the human being in the center of the policy. We are only looking at the policy and how beneficial it will be, but how can the human being have access to that policy, you know, or to that intervention and benefits? We sometimes lose sight of it a little bit, and that is why it's important that we look at all the sides of it, so that we are giving the education to young people, but we are not in the end, you know, just how do I put it?
We need to
it's like leading them to the slaughter. You know, because you have them in the you have them in the communities, you know, and now a lot of the schools have hostels beside the schools, and the schools have taken the responsibility to check to look after the day students in the hostels. Yes, because you can't just leave 14, 13-year-olds in the community alone, you know, and so it's an added responsibility to the schools, which we are very thankful for. But that is a consequence that we never thought of when we were thinking of free SHS, right? And so it's very, very important that governments, institutions, public institutions, and politicians, when they are discussing and bringing on board policies, we should be looking at all these things and how they affect young people in the long run, because you could have the best of intentions, but then, you know, the outcome might be different from what your intentions were. And we need to be very careful about that.
Interesting. Thank you very much for your time. But before we go, we are just 2 months and some few weeks to the end of the year. What are some of the things that we should expect from you in the coming year?
Okay, so in the coming year, through the kind donation or support from the Netherlands Embassy, we've received some funding to work with people with disabilities.
Okay.
Especially with girls and women with disabilities. So in the coming year, we are going to be working with other partners in the northern region, in the Ashanti region, and in the central region, working with women and girls with disabilities, providing them with information on their sexual health, empowering them with livelihood skills, but also supporting in employment drives as well. And so together with the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, we are going to be looking at an equitable employment policy
for these disabled people.
Yes, where disabled people, graduates, can have access to employment as well. And so it's exciting for us on that new project, and we look forward to doing that. But we are also going to be strengthening our digital health intervention, which is the Yankasa. Yes, we are going to be having lots of partners that would provide services for young people that calls onto the center. We'll be having community programs and information sessions for young people, and but also for adults as well. I mean, we can't leave the others.
We can't do young children
No,
and
at
then
all.
leave out the
We've
adults because
started,
we're always living with them.
exactly. We've started the intergenerational dialogues, where
Okay.
we are facilitating the dialogue between
Grandma and
adults,
grandchild.
exactly, adults and children.
So what is grandma going to say? What is grandchild going to say? They both
Well,
need to
we want,
listen.
exactly, we want them to talk. We
Okay.
want the child to, as I said, to trust the adults, and we want the adult to be able to mentor the child. It's very, very important that children trust the parents that they have at home, and to be able to tell them if they have any issues or
Right.
not. When they go into the communities or if they go out. And so we have started that, and we hope that we will be able
Would
to
work.
continue in the coming year to
Yeah.
ensure that
2022.
20,
We'll
yes,
do
yes,
well.
yes, yeah, of course, we want Ghana to be in a better
In a
place,
better place.
and the young people to take up the mantle when we are not there. What we do today will determine our future.
Yeah.
When we are old and we cannot go out, what do you expect? We have to do that now.
All right. Thank you very much for your time once again.
Thank you. Thank
So,
you
so
very much.
whatever decisions that our parents, our grandparents had taken some years back is what we are in today. So
Sure.
let's do well to know what we are about, what we are thinking, what we are initiating, what we are starting, and what we decide for ourselves is also very important, because what we are today is what we bring out to the world. That is what the world sees. So let's do well to know what we are all about. And our health is almost always important. It's the pink month, and let's pink it out. Let's get ourselves screened for breast cancer. I'm not saying you have it, but you should get screened so that if you have it, we'll have a plan for you. And to do that, you need to visit any of the Sonotech branches in Tema, in Osu, and then at the West Hills. And when you get there, it is just free. But if you have a problem, especially on mammograms and breast ultrasound, you are getting 50% or 20% discount. And it's a good deal. So do well to visit any of the branches and get yourself screened. It is a pink one. Let's pink it out. And all those who are celebrating their birthday this today and then the week that is about coming, happy birthday to you, and to all October borns, happy birthday to all of us. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for listening and enjoying this program. To my producer, thank you very much. To the technical team, God bless you. We are out.